5.2 multiplication when the base is the same, like bases. The dot between terms means multiply. Reminder, x to the fourth means x times x times x times x. You multiply the base times itself, the power tells you how many. X to the fourth times x to the third would mean write out 4 of them, multiply, write out 3 of them. We wrote out a total of 7. 4 in the first part, 3 in the second part, 7 total. So that's x to the 7th. X to the third times x squared. X to the third means write 3 times. X to the 2 means write 2. 3 and 2 more is 5. 3 in the first part, 2 in the second part, 5 total. Shortcut. When multiplying like bases, you can add exponents. In this example, we had x to the third times x to the fifth, x to the third times x squared equals x to the fifth. That meant write out 3 in the first part, write out another 2. You wrote out 3 plus another 2, which equals 3 plus 2 and 5, equals 5 in all. Practice. 7x to the fourth times 3x squared. 7 times 3 is 21, and add the powers. x4 times x2 is x6. Imagine writing that out. You would have x times x times x times x for the first part. There would be 4. In the second part, you would have 2. 4 plus 2 more is 6. 2x cubed times negative 4x to the fifth. Positive times a negative is a negative. And then add your exponents. 3 plus 5 is 8. Y times y to the fifth would be y to the sixth. The first one is understood y to the 1. So we would have 1, and then 5 more is 6 in all. 3x to the fourth times 2x cubed times 2x. 3 times 2 is 6 times the last 2 is 12. Add the exponents. 4 plus 3 plus the understood 1 is 8. Does 3 to the 1 times 3 to the 1 equal 9 to the 2? Well, 3 to the 1 is 3. The other 3 to the 1 is 3. So the left side is really 3 times 3, which is 9. The right side is 9 squared, 9 to the 2, which means 9 times 9. Does 9 equal 9 times 9? 9 times 9 is 81. 9 does not equal 81. You don't multiply the numbers and add the exponents. Why not? What does 3 to the 1 times 3 to the 1 equal in exponent form? 3 to the 1 times 3 to the 1 equals 3 to the 2. What does 3 to the 2 mean? It means you have 3 times 3, which is what 3 to the 1 times 3 to the 1 equals. You don't multiply the 3's and add the powers, because we saw earlier that 9 doesn't equal 81. The base means what you wrote out, and the power means how many of them. 3 to the 1 times 3 to the 1. We wrote out 3's, and we had 2 of them. 5 to the 2 times 5 to the 4 would be 5 to the 6. Why? Because we would write out some 5's. We would write out some more 5's. What did we write out a bunch of? 5's. That means write out a bunch of 5's. So 5 is the base. The 6 is because you would have 6 of them. 6 to the 2 times 6 to the 3. Write 2 6's, then write 3 more 6's. You wrote a bunch of 6's. You wrote out 5 of them. Distributing with a monomial out front. One thing in the front, several things in parentheses. Distribute the term out front like we did in 1.4 section when there was a number out front. Multiply the thing out front times everything in the parentheses. 3 times 2x plus 4. 3 times 2x, 6x. 3 times 4, 12. Now what if we have letters? Do the same thing. 6x times 2x is 12x squared. 6x times negative 5 is negative 30x. Negative 5y times 6y is negative 30y squared. Negative 5y times negative 2 is positive 10y. 2x squared times 3x cubed. 2 times 3 is 6 for the regular numbers. For the exponents, add. 2 plus 3 would be x5. Now 2x squared times negative 5x squared. Positive times negative is negative. 2 times 5 is 10. Add the exponents. 2 plus 2 is 4. Now 2x squared times 2x. 2 times 2 is 4. Now add the exponents. 2 plus the understood 1 would be x3. The last one, 2x squared times negative 3 would be negative 6x squared. Distributing with the binomial out front. Two things in the first parentheses. Multiply the first term in parentheses times everything in the second parentheses. Then multiply the second term in the first parentheses times everything in the second. So everything in that first parentheses has to distribute to everything in the second one. So distribute the x first. X times 2x squared, 2x cubed. X times 3x, 3x squared. X times 4, 4x. Now we're going to distribute the 3. 3 times 2x squared, 6x squared. 3 times 3x, 9x. 3 times 4, 12. Combine the like terms. Notice that I lined up my like terms. That's the only cube. 3x squareds plus 6x squareds equal 9x squareds. Remember, dollars plus dollars are dollars. X squareds plus x squareds are more x squareds. 4x plus 9x is 13x, and plus 12 is your only number. Example 2. 2x minus 4 times 3x squared minus 5x plus 2. Distribute the 2x. 2x times 3x squared is 6x cubed. 2x times negative 5x equals negative 10x squared. 2x times 2 is 4x. Now distribute the negative 4. Negative 4 times 3x squared is negative 12x squared. Negative 4 times negative 5x is positive 20x. Negative 4 times 2 is 8. I lined up the like terms. Notice the squares and the x's are lined up. Combine like terms. That was the only cube. Minus 10 minus 12 is minus 22x squared. 4x plus 20x is 24x. And bring down your minus 8. Example 3, distribute the x. X times 2x squared, 2x cubed. X times x is x squared. X times negative 1 is minus 1x. Distribute the negative 3. Negative 3 times 2x squared, negative 6x squared. Negative 3 times x, negative 3x. Negative 3 times negative 1 is positive 3. Combine like terms. 2x cubed is the only x cubed. X squared minus 6x squared is minus 5x squared. Minus 1x minus 3x is minus 4x. Bring down your plus 3. What if we have x raised to a power raised to another power? We will first write them out to find a shortcut. X to the fourth to the second power means write x to the fourth twice because there's a 2 outside the parentheses. So x to the fourth times x to the fourth would mean write out 4 of them, write 4 more, you would have 8. So x to the fourth to the 2 is x to the 8th. X to the third raised to the fourth would mean write x to the third times x to the third times x to the third times x to the third. Each of those mean write 3. Notice I have 4 sets of 3, so I have 12. What is the shortcut? you can multiply powers. It makes sense because you have sets. Here we have 4 sets of 3. 4 sets of 3 is 4 times 3, 12. X to the 5th raised to the 4th power is x to the 20th. X to the 3rd to the 5th, 3 times 5 is 15, x to the 15. 4x squared in parentheses all to the 3rd power. What's different? The 4 inside. Write the whole thing out. 4x squared to the 3rd means write 4x squared, 4x squared, 4x squared. Multiply the numbers. 4 times 4 is 16, times the last 4 is 64. And then we can multiply the powers from the first part. 2 times 3 is 6. From where I have it written out, that's where you can add. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. You can use the shortcut for the power. Multiply out the numbers. 4 to the 3rd means 4 times 4 times 4. 2x cubed all to the 4th would mean write 2x cubed and have 4 of them. Let's do the numbers. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 again is 8, times 2 again is 16. What about the exponent? From that first part, we can just say 3 times 4 is 12. Or we can write out all those 3's. If you have 3, 3, 3, and 3, that's 4 times 3 is 12. Negative 6x all squared is negative 6x times negative 6x. Negative times negative is positive 36. X times x is x squared. Negative 2y to the 5th all to the 4th would mean negative 2y to the 5th times itself. Write 4 of them. Let's do the sign first. The first pair, negative times negative, is positive. The last two, negative times negative, is positive. So that's why it's a positive. Let's do the numbers. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 2 is 16. And how many y's would we have? We'd have 5, 5, 5, and 5 more is 20. Or you could say 5 times 4 is 20. Negative 4y to the 7 squared. Negative 4y to the 7 times negative 4y to the 7. A negative times a negative equals a positive. 4 times 4 is 16. For the y's, 7 plus 7 is 14. Or at the top, we could have said 7 times 2 is 14. That's the end.